This is Optimal Startup Daily, episode 37, an excerpt from the book Great Leaders Live Like Drug Addicts by Brody-Waite. And I'm Dan, I am your host and narrator here, and I'm here every single day reading to you from some of the best blogs covering entrepreneurship and freelancing. But that said, I am doing something different today. I'm actually not reading to you from a blog. I'm going to narrate an excerpt from a book for you, and I'll tell you about the author right after the reading. So for now, let's get right to it and start optimizing your life. An excerpt from the book Great Leaders Live Like Drug Addicts by Brody-Waite. Nobody ever looks at a drug addict and says, "Man, that guy really has it all together. I wish I could be more like him." You've probably never heard a high-power CEO or business training guru hold up a drug addict as an example of quality leadership. So what gives with the title of this book? Why on earth would I title my very first book, Great Leaders Live Like Drug Addicts? As you'll find out, I know what I'm talking about when it comes to drug addicts. I spent years of my life pumping as much poison into my system as I could. I was an unemployable, homeless, thieving, lying drug addict. How's that for authenticity? But you'll also learn that I know what I'm talking about when it comes to great leaders. I've been clean for 17 years, and in that time, I've been a leader in retail, corporate America, startups, nonprofits, and as an entrepreneur. I am an award-winning 3-time CEO, and I've taken a startup from nothing to 20,000% growth and a subsequent 8-figure acquisition by a publicly traded company. I've been at the very bottom, and I've spent time at the top. I've sat with drug addicts in more than 2,000 12-step meetings, and I've sat with billionaire business people around mahogany conference tables. And in that time with both these groups, and this is where I get controversial, I've learned that the same things drug addicts do that makes them outcasts from society are what leaders do in their effort to become great. Growing up, I learned that being an addict was a terrible thing, that there was a deep stigma associated with addiction. So when I became an addict, I was ashamed. I did everything I could to hide that part of me from the world. Drug addicts who are using are in what we call active addiction. And as my active addiction grew worse and I couldn't stop, I continued to lie and hide in order to get what I wanted. I developed tunnel vision. I was so focused on getting what I wanted that I often couldn't see the impact I was making on the people I loved or even myself. And sometimes when I could see it, I just didn't care. When my family and friends finally intervened, I yelled and screamed at them like they were crazy. I protested. I stomped my feet. I proclaimed, "I don't have a problem." I'd been throwing up blood, but I honestly believed I was doing fine. I just couldn't see it. I had spun so many lies, I couldn't keep up with what was real and what was fake. Even at rock bottom, I was doing my best to show everyone around me how well off I was. If you had told me to be real or to be my true self in my days of active addiction, I wouldn't have known what you were talking about. The lies I told myself and others had become such a big part of my identity that I couldn't see which parts of me were real and which were fake. Over the years, I have been taught that an addict is someone who does the same thing over and over again despite negative consequences. So, after watching endless politician and CEO scandals play out in public, and after coaching thousands of leaders in dozens of fields, my observation is that most leaders learn to act a lot like addicts in active addiction. Sure, leaders may not be facing the same kind of immediate dangers that I did back then, but you'd be surprised how real the danger is for these overworked and overstressed professionals. Most of the leaders I talk to tell me how tired they are, how little free time they have, and how seldom they take a day off to hang out with their families and friends or pursue hobbies without thinking about work. No matter how hard they work, no matter how much success they achieve, they never truly feel successful enough and always believe they need more. They chase the results they want, whether it's a promotion, more power, a raise, a big team, or the corner office, going out of their way to bury their true selves behind a mask of what they think others expect them to be. They work long hours, forsaking their families, friends, and personal lives. They make decisions they regret because they're scared of losing out or not getting something they want. They feel pressured to project a level of calm control over their responsibilities and teams. They hide their weaknesses and cover up their mistakes, hiding their humanity in the process. They end up becoming so laser-focused on their goals that they become blind to the problem, doing almost anything to get their fix. One addict is hiding their true self on the journey to destitution or death. The other addict is hiding their true self on the journey to success. You just listened to an excerpt from the book Great Leaders Live Like Drug Addicts by Brody-Waite. And a little bit about the author for you. Michael was a full-blown drug addict at the age of 23. He had been kicked out of college, fired from his job, and evicted from his apartment. In 2002, after running out of options and fearing death, he checked into rehab, entered recovery, and has been transforming himself every day since. His TEDx Nashville YouTube video is the #1 talk in the history of TEDx Nashville, seen by over 1 million people. And now he's an Inc. 500 entrepreneur, award-winning 3-time CEO, a leadership coach, and an author, of course, of this book. You can come by michaelbrodywaite.com to learn more and to get his book, and I've got the site linked in this episode's description. And that's going to do it for today. Thank you so much for listening, for being here each and every day with me and being a subscriber. Have yourself a very happy Friday and a great start to your weekend, and I'll see you back here tomorrow where your optimal life awaits.